how to create your own math riddle on today's ThinkShare. Hello and welcome to the ThinkShare. My name is Zach, here to bring you been thinking about, sharing about, talking about, listening to, reading about that doesn't belong in math class. However, today it does belong in math class. A student shared a riddle with me and I wanted to share it with you, demystify it, and then give you the tools to create your own riddle to amaze anybody you want. So here's how it goes. Get a calculator. Okay. Pick a random number from 1 to 9. Okay. Next, you're going to do a series of operations. First, I want you to multiply by 2. Take your random number, multiply by 2. Then you're going to add 5. Then you're going to multiply by 50. If your birthday has passed this year, I want you to add 1,771. If your birthday has not passed this year, I want you to add 1,770. From there, I want you to subtract the year that you were born. And then lastly, I want you to take the number that you have. It should be a 3-digit number. I want you to get rid of the hundreds place. And finally, what you have left over should be your age. Okay, now we're going to demystify why that worked. So a lot of the students in the class did the challenge along with her and were very confused and like, boom, mind blown. So we're going to demystify that. So what I did here was I took the operations and created an equation. So here are the 3 numbers that matter. One is the random number that you chose at the beginning, is x. The random number that we dropped out at the very end, the hundreds place, is r. And a is the age that you are. So we started out with x, which is the random number, multiplied by 2, added 5, multiplied that whole thing by 50. I'm going to just use the first version, which is if your birthday has passed. So mine has passed. Most people's have passed this year because it's December. I would probably use the other one once you watch this in the earlier part of the year. So we add 1,771, and then you're going to subtract your birth year. And the reason I have it written like this is this year, 2021. Subtract your age gives me, for me, I'm 31, so that's 1990. So I wrote this part in terms of age, and then finally it's going to come out to the hundreds place, which is 100 times that random number plus your age. So here's how this works. I'm going to simplify it to make it a little clearer. So first we're going to distribute 50. So we get 100 times x plus 250 plus 1,771. I'm going to distribute this negative, so it's minus 2,021 plus a equals 100r plus a. Next, we're going to combine like terms, so we're going to add these all together. Oops, sorry, this should be a 250. So we got 100x plus 250 comes out to 2021 minus 2021 plus a equals 100r plus a. Cancel these out, so that goes to 0, and we get 100x plus a equals 100r plus a. So here's what I want you to notice. Those computations up front, they took a random number and created this 250 number to add to what seemed like a random number, which was not random at all. That 5 times 50 was 250, 250 plus that is the year that we're in. And then from there, when we dropped in, so those ended up canceling out the 2021. The 2 times x times 50 created this 100x, which in the end becomes that 6. So when you dropped out that number, so my random number was 7 when I originally chose it, and I dropped out a 7 in the hundreds place along with my age. So that x and that r become the same thing. So that first one that you started with should be the number that dropped out when you took out the hundreds place. And you should be left over with a equals a pretty much. So what we did was an equation was created that ended up creating some like redundancies almost that ended up canceling out. So what you could do if you wanted to create your own version of this is take this equation and then just kind of change up some of the numbers. So for example, if you change, all you have to do, here are the key components. You need to, like if you wanted to include the if passed, if not passed thing, you just need to make sure that the 2021 cancels out. And they have to put in some kind of information about their age to be able to get age on the other side. So you can't start with a random number and then end up with your age. They have to input some sort of information that has to do with their age. So in this case, the birth year seems like it's kind of random, and that's kind of why it's magical. So I would probably stick with this statement, but you can really mess with the 2x, the 5. The reason that it also seemed really cool is because at the end there, when you drop out the hundreds place and just have left over what's in the tens and the ones place, that seemed really cool. And so what we had to do is you had to multiply some things so that it was 100 times your random number at the beginning. So if you don't have the 100 times the random number at the beginning, you're not going to be able to just drop out the hundreds place later on. Those are some of the key components. I hope this kind of gives you a framework for how to come up with your own riddle. But if you mess with these numbers so that you still get 100, you mess with that number and that number so that they still cancel out with 2021, and you still ask them to input the year that they were born, it should be pretty straightforward, but you can mix and match numbers for days. You could even add more computations to this if you wanted to make it even crazier. So share with me in the comments, what are the riddles you guys came up with based on this? I hope this is valuable. Share this with your math teacher. I'm sure there will be some fun riddles that come out of this. I'm sure you could even create exponents, and you could use all sorts of computations that just have to reverse themselves. That's all for today. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope this inspires you to do more mathing. Thank you. Stay weird.